Clients are hiring you for your expertise. Offering too many options shifts the burden of decision-making back onto them.
All right. I'm Rebecca Hay, and I've built a successful interior design business by trial and error, podcasts, online courses, and so many freaking books. Over the last decade, I've grown from an insecure student to having false starts to careers, and now I'm finally in the place where I want to be. Throughout my journey, it's been pretty obvious that I'm passionate about business and helping other entrepreneurs do the same. Each week, I'll share tangible takeaways from my own experience and the experiences of other badass women to help you build your confidence and change your business.
Hey, it's Rebecca, and you are listening to Resilient by Design. Today, I want to talk about what your clients need to hear from you to give you a yes. So often, as designers and as creatives, we get nervous or worried that our clients are going to say no to our ideas, or they're going to say no to our proposal, or they're going to say no to the timeline, or they're going to push back. And it can be challenging because we have a vision. And dang, it's frustrating if the client doesn't see it, or if they want to modify it or tweak it, or God forbid, reduce the budget. So I want to talk today about how you can empower yourself with strategies so that you can confidently communicate your value, your ideas, and make that client decision-making process more streamlined to quickly get a yes, regardless of where you are at in your process, so that your clients are confident and excited to work with you and to go ahead with all of your ideas. First of all, have you ever had a client hesitate? Maybe question your pricing, or even ask for like endless revisions? Maybe they say, oh, it's just gonna be one revision, and then you get another email. A few days later, I've had the email where it's like, revision request. Following my process, she did exactly what I asked. 1 of 3, literally, in the subject line. I have it saved somewhere. It was a doozy. Each email had like 10 plus bullet points. That's when I realized, maybe my process needs to be slightly tweaked. Have you ever had that though? Or even just a client come back to you after you thought revisions were done before they're really ready to commit? If this is you, today's episode is going to resonate. I'm going to dive into what your clients need to hear from you to confidently say yes without the stress or second guessing. And you're going to learn how presenting fewer options to showcase your expertise is going to help you. And I'm going to give you some tips to make that easier. Easier for your clients to say, yes, you're the designer for me, or yes, this is the look I want for my house. So let's start with the importance of clear communication. Ultimately, if you want your clients to say yes, you need to be a good communicator. This clarity in communication, this having a clear message with your clients, is going to build trust. Clients can feel overwhelmed. Just like we feel overwhelmed, they too can feel overwhelmed when they don't fully understand the process, knowing what's coming up next, or maybe they feel uncertain about what you're recommending. So having clear, confident communication is going to put them at ease. Letting them know the exact next steps they can expect is clear communication. Letting them know, I selected this drapery because of this, and here's why, and how it's going to end up and look great. You need to be very clear in communication. You need to also get the right information from your clients. You need to ask the right questions. Today, I'm going to give you practical, actionable tips. They're going to make all of these interactions with your clients a little bit smoother. So the first tip, I guess you will, is this is controversial, guys. So are you ready for it? I suggest you provide one option for design with confidence instead of multiple options that they can choose from, or, God forbid, mix and match. So here's why. I have learned from not doing this in the early years, where you've heard me say this before, I would be sitting on the floor, I would bring fabric samples, I would have floor plans with me, maybe elevations, maybe tile, like you name it. I was bringing samples to their house on their living room floor, fanning it out, showing them this design scheme versus that design scheme. You know, if we use the plaid for the sofa, wouldn't that be neat? But then in that case, we'd want to do a neutral velvet pillow. But yes, oh, you love the velvet. Yeah, you're right. We could do the velvet for the sofa. Oh, that would be luxe. Yeah, so if we did the velvet for the sofa, the plaid could be a great pillow. Oh, no, the plaid would be great for the drapes. Do you see where I'm going here? So I would include my clients in making all of these decisions. And then when I finally shifted to having a presentation, which was amazing, I would show them multiple options. So it wasn't like, help me pull the scheme together anymore. It was, here's scheme A, here's scheme B, here's scheme C. So if we went with the light hardwood, here's what they would look like. With the medium walnut, here's what it would look like. Or you could go with the aspect. Like, whew. Clients are hiring you for your expertise. Offering too many options shifts the burden of decision-making back onto them. I said this before when I talked about giving them multiple service offerings. If you missed that episode, go back to it. It was in the last couple of weeks. I don't know the number. Go back and listen to it. But when you offer clients too many options, it's like tennis, like bing. I wish I could make a tennis a racket hitting a ball sound, like a boing. You're hitting the ball back into their court. Offering too many options shifts the burden of decision-making to your clients, which can create confusion or worse, decision paralysis. When I had a presentation for the first time where I offered one option, because I heard a coach say, offer one option, I was like, sure, if she says it's going to work, I will try it. And guess what? We did the entire presentation, though we were over budget. The client said afterwards, because I was waiting for tons of feedback of things they didn't like. Like I was making some bold choices, like this wild wallpaper for nothing I do is like over the top wild, but it was like a pattern wallpaper for this thing. And then this fabric for this custom curved sofa, like all these things that I was really pushing outside the box for design. And at the end, the feedback the client gave me was, we love everything. And all I could think was, how is that even possible? You know what I mean? Because as a designer, you're like, there's so many options. Don't they know there's so many options? Don't they want to ask me to see all the options? Like, blew my mind. When you present one carefully curated option that you feel confident about, you are going to get buy-in from your clients faster. Now, sure, some things might change. And in that situation, there were some revisions. Not a lot, but there were some revisions. But what you can say to your client is something like this. Based on our discussions, I believe this is the best choice for your space. I also like to tell clients, I like to warn clients in a discovery call or in a consultation, if I haven't done it in the call, that we like to put what I call our best foot forward. What that means is we only present one option for your space, but that's after we have gathered all the information and insights from you, from everything you've needed. You've signed off on the concept and vision for the space in our concept and budget review. And then at the presentation, we are going to put our best foot forward. This will be a game changer for you. This is clear communication, but you are confidently showing them your selections. By giving them one option and communicating it ahead of time so they know it's coming, you are actually more likely to get a yes. And it sounds counterintuitive, but trust me, it works. Try it. Okay, the next tip I have for you to get your clients saying yes is to lean into your experience and expertise. Too many of us downplay our talent or downplay our years of experience. It wasn't until I started adding into my discovery calls verbiage like, for the past decade, we have worked with clients on fill in the blank. In my years of experience, fill in the blank. Clients want to know that they're in good hands. So when you can highlight your experience, it is going to help them trust your judgment and feel reassured. Now, I want to just say something for those of you who are like, but I don't have a decade of experience, Rebecca. Like, I've only been doing this for a year or 2 years, or I haven't even started. You need to pull from your life experience. I just had a great conversation with a Power of Process alumni, Heather, and we talked about this, how you have I'm getting preachy. You have transferable skills from your past career and life that you can bring to your design business. Do you have great people skills? I once coached an interior designer in one of my private coaching sessions, and I was going through all of her About Us documentation, her website, and what she had told me about her experience and who she is versus what I was seeing were not aligned. She, turns out, had so much experience flipping homes. She and her husband were flipping houses. They had this incredible team of trades that they used on every flip that they work with. And nowhere in her marketing materials or in her discovery call script was she talking about the experience of that and her qualified trades that have her back, that she works with. I said, girl, most interior designers, even if they've been in this industry for 10 years, do not even have their go-to trades. It is so hard. Why are you not talking about this? So share that expertise that you have. Level up in your verbiage. And it is not boasting. It is not salesy. And I think sometimes we hold back from fluffing ourselves up or talking ourselves up because we don't want to look arrogant. We don't want to look like we think we're the best. We want to be humble. Humble is not going to help your clients say yes. Weave your expertise into the conversation, but do it naturally. So you could say, in my 5 years of flipping houses, or in my 8 years of working on projects just like this, I have found that this approach works best. Or I used to work this way in the early years of my business, but now I found that this works best. If you have credentials, mention them. It is not sleazy to mention that you have an interior design degree or a diploma, or that you did a certificate in project management, or that you have an undergrad in something completely unrelated, or that you have an MBA. I don't know. Don't sound like a douchebag, but make sure your credentials are mentioned somewhere. If you're not going to say it verbally, make sure they're somewhere. If you have them, flaunt them. Do you have any awards? Do you have past successful projects that maybe the client was over the moon? Do you have great testimonials? Do you have photo books? What do you have to show them that you know what you're doing? So here's a couple of things that I've done. One, we host our presentations at the studio. We have awards that we've won, Build Awards. They are out on display so that everybody can see them. And they're strategically on display so that when you're doing the presentation at the table, and I learned this from a marketing firm. I was working for a developer. We were designing a community for them. They had this marketing agency, and we went to this. I'm laughing because it was like the most ludicrous situation. I felt like I was in a movie from 10 years ago. But we walk into this marketing agency. It was post-pandemic, but it felt like pre-pandemic. Like everybody was there. And it was so flashy. And when we sat down at the boardroom table, all we saw were plastered on all the walls, all the awards that they had won, and all of the brochures and a lot of the marketing materials or promo materials that they'd done for previous developers on the walls. There was no question this marketing firm knew how to market new developments. And I thought, oh, this is so fascinating. It's like you are putting this subliminal message. They didn't even talk about any of that when we were there. And this was not a sales meeting. They'd already hired them. But all I could think was, I see why this marketing agency wants to have all of our meetings in person at their studio, which I thought was ridiculous. Why can't we just have it on Zoom? There was so much power in seeing that around them. So we have our awards out. We have some publications framed and on the wall. I also have client photo books. So at the end of a project, when I create something to give to my client, which is before and after photos, I make a second copy for us. And it is here at the studio on display as soon as you enter, so that I can grab it if a client's here and I can show them. So find ways to weave your expertise into the conversation, into your marketing. Keep it concise, keep it client focused. Nobody wants to hear about that cottage you built because there's a funny story with the architect and it got featured in the magazine and you won an award. okay, great for you, Rebecca, but what does that have to do with my kitchen reno? Like, don't see the connection. So make sure you can weave it into that conversation seamlessly with relevance. Okay. Next tip is know your numbers. I mean, guys, I talk about this a lot. Know your numbers. Being confident and prepared when you're discussing pricing shows professionalism, and it's going to avoid that awkward back and forth where they throw out a number, you're not really sure, then you throw out a number like, no. So before you meet with a client, in the call, ideally, be clear on your pricing structure and how you will communicate it. You don't have to tell them how you calculate it if you don't want, but be clear on your pricing structure. Like, I will often tell clients, our design fee is structured in such a way, it's based on a square footage. It ranges from this to that. You know, the last kitchen that we did was this much. Know your numbers. Come prepared with your numbers, because that is going to show them you're a professional. Let's be honest. I'm sorry. You don't want to hear this. You're like, but prices are changing and I don't know their project and it's unique to them. Yeah. Okay, fine. That is all true. You still need to know numbers. Even if you can't tell them exactly what their project's going to cost until you actually budget it out, which is 100% valid. Don't ever tell someone the cost it is going to be before you've actually done the work, but you can tell them what past projects have costed. You can have sample budgets you've created. You can ask other designers and contractors what things are costing. Like, guys, there are lots of tools out there. You can use ChatGPT. You can use the internet. You can use all of the resources that I provide, all the community that I have. Like, find out what things cost. Know your numbers. And always share your value, right? So if you're going to talk about numbers, talk about the value you provide. And also just the words you use matter. So instead of saying it costs $15,000, try the investment for this project is $15,000. Or, hey, what's your budget? You could say, how much are you hoping to invest in this kitchen reno? Right? Because let's be honest, it is an investment, especially if it's their home. They're going to sell it and make more money, right? Know your numbers. End of story. Point number 4. Have an organized process with visible next steps. So, clients need to know what's happening next. When you have a clear roadmap for your clients that outlines how you are going to work with them from start to finish, it is going to reduce any anxiety, and more than anything, believe it or not, that is going to build trust. You want to lay out your process step by step. Start with initial consultation. Like, what is your process? Is it there's a consultation, then you've got your concept presentation, and there's revisions and final approval, and then the execution, and then maybe we do deficiencies, and then whatever it is for you, use visuals if possible. And this is going to help you get that yes with your clients after the consultation when you are presenting your proposal, because you've walked them through what it's going to look like to work with you. And if you can have a visual flow chart, this is something that I teach inside Power of Process. It's really helpful to have visuals because clients, especially for the designer, because we're so visual, but clients do value and appreciate that. But having a simple timeline to show them, or maybe it's a checklist, so that it feels tangible, it feels achievable. They see that you are thinking through what's coming next and you're not just winging it. Because let's face it, a lot of us do wing it. I used to wing it. People would say to me, okay, great. Like, I'd be on the floor. There I am with all the fabrics and the samples and my bags and my cute little like plastic zippy folder things, pockets or whatever. They'd be like, okay, so what happens next, Rebecca? And like, they were asking, you know, like just very kindly, like they just wanted to know. They were just like, okay, this, and they were in conversation. I didn't think anything of the question. I was like, okay, well, and the thing is I didn't actually have an answer because every project in my mind was different and unique. And so how could I possibly have the same process for every project? Like, to me, that was a ludicrous idea. And so I would turn to my client, and there's this one client, I'm picturing this one room. Every time I tell this story, I picture the same condo, the same floor. They're lovely, actually. They're repeat clients. I just did some work for them last year. But anyways, and I would turn to them and I would be formulating in my head, like I was BSing my way through it, basically. I was making it up on the spot. I'm really good at that. I'm really good at winging it, but it actually didn't serve me more than in the moment, right? Because then I would get back and I'm like, oh, why did I tell them I was going to do the floor plans and then I was going to send them? Like, I really feel like I want to source this thing first before I do the floor plans. And oh my God. So have a process that you can follow and have a visual of it, because this is going to help your clients trust you and say yes to working with you, to the next step, to your design choices. And this is exactly what I teach inside Power of Process. This is where I help designers create seamless workflows so they can deliver exceptional client experiences. This is going to be a game changer if you do not have this already. My very last tip, because I just want to leave this with you, confidence is contagious. Confidence is contagious. Clients are going to pick up on your energy. If you're unsure or you're hesitant, like I would have been in that situation of trying to think of what's next, they are going to sense it. But if you're confident and you're excited, they feel reassured. So you want to speak decisively. You want to really think things through before you go to the client. What are you going to say? Prepare in advance. And then when you are with them on the phone, on the Zoom, in person, show up confidently, speaking decisively to let them know that you believe what you're saying. So instead of saying something like, well, I think this could work. I mean, I know I said it with a positive influx in my voice, but instead of that, you could say, this is the perfect solution for your space. Which one sounds more confident? The second one. And sometimes you got to fake it a little till you make it. Maybe you're not fully sure, but you're pretty sure and you're nervous and you don't want to. Just do it. You can always fix it on the end, on the back end. Ultimately, I'm going to leave you with this last nugget. I'm liking doing these nuggets when I do solos. I don't think I do, this is like my second nugget of all time, guys. It's so exciting. I always get the guests to do nuggets and I never get to do it. Remember, your clients came to you for a reason. Own your expertise. Own your expertise because they see you as an expert. All right. I hope that episode was useful. Let me know. Don't forget to head on over to iTunes. Give us a review. I will see you soon.
The Resilient by Design podcast is produced by Vera Marquez, edited by Abby Circatella, and hosted by yours truly, Rebecca Hay.